Hey fellow crochet knitters! If you clicked on this video, you're most likely finished with your scarf, or you're just curious about how to go about finishing your scarf. So no matter what reason you clicked on this, I applaud you for your curiosity. Anyways, today, as I mentioned already, I'm going to be demonstrating how to exactly finish this scarf off. And before I actually get into this, let me verbally explain what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be first demonstrating how to do the single crochet border. This is highly recommended for those of you who followed the official pattern that we had for you guys. But if you decided to choose your own pattern, you can decide whether or not you actually want to do the single crochet border, depending on if the edges of your scarf are relatively straight or if they're kind of uneven. As you can see, since single crochet versus half double crochet stitches tend to be tighter, this one is tighter than the other type. So that's the purpose of the single crochet border tutorial. But I will also be just demonstrating how to sew in your ends at the end. So I'll leave a timestamp on here for where you should go if you want to directly jump ahead and get to that part. So anyways, without further ado, I'm going to begin with the single crochet border. And so what I have here right now is I have finished my scarf up to the point, and the last row that I made were single crochets because that was the type of stitch I was doing when I reached my 50-inch goal. So what we want to do is we want to make a single crochet in every row along this entire scarf. So I will admit there's no specific place that you want to insert your hook into. When you have your single crochet, you know that you want to insert your hook below the V, right? But for here, we're just going to try to aim to go into the side of a row, and I'm just eyeballing it here. I'm trying to make my stitch as close to the edge, but while still having some underneath the yarn. And what I'm doing right now is I'm just making single crochets. I just made two single crochets along this slot. That's gonna help me create my corner, and you'll see this as I continue on. So now I'm just going to go under some more yarn and make another single crochet. So I'm just moving along every hole that you see right here that I'm kind of pointing out. This is where I'm going to make a single crochet into. And what this helps to form is essentially a single crochet border in which the single crochets in the end will look more even than, for example, what I have right now, which you just see the edges, the turning rows, where I turn from the next row to get to the next row. So what you can just see here real quick is that I've made a couple of single crochets here, and I made two single crochets in this corner just to create a corner space. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep single crocheting all along the border of this scarf, making one single crochet in the side of about one row, and all the way until I get to the end. But we have a problem right now, real quick, and this has to do with the yarn that I was using. The yarn that I used had different colors. As you can see, this one right now, it's turning from gray to black. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my color to black so that I can continue this border. And then once I get to the part where it's changing back to gray, I'm going to change my yarn so that it's gray, and then I'll finish that off. So in order to actually change colors, what we have to do is first to end the color that we have right now. So what I'm going to do is pretty much similar to when you want to finish a project in general. You're going to cut the yarn. Make sure you leave a tail that is around 3 to 4 inches. You can always cut off more than 3 inches, but try to leave at least a couple of inches because this is going to be important for threading in our yarn. So now what you also need is a needle in which you can fit the yarn through the hole. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out my hook going to pull this all the way through. So we just have a piece of yarn that's remaining. And I'm going to thread this yarn through the hole of the needle. So ideally the way I like to do this is I will fold the yarn in half. So folding it in half and then just pinching this folded end, so that it sort of is flat and it's easier to insert through the needle. As you can see, I've just threaded the yarn through the needle. And then now what we're going to do is we're going to try to hide this yarn tail in our project creation, because this is going to allow us to end off our project without having to like tie a knot or anything, because when you tie a knot and you pull on it, but you want to hide the tail, so you cut the tail short, the knot is going to undo if you end up like tying it by accident or anything. So this is the way that most crocheters like to finish their works in general. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to insert my needle through a couple of these stitches. It doesn't really matter which ones you go into, just be sure to insert your needle through these. And then I'm going to pull through. You see how I've pulled the yarn through from where it was cut here and now it's here, right? So we want to make this extra secure. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go back the way I threaded my needle through. So you see how my needle is right here, my yarn is coming out right here. So I'm going to skip this stitch and go in the stitch right in front of it, just so that we don't end up undoing what we just did. I'm going to go under this one, then I'm going to go under the next few until I reach here. So then now I'm going to pull through. At this point, I've effectively threaded my yarn through this little bit of the project that I had. So at this point, I think we are good to just end it off. So what I will do is I'll like just pull it just a bit, and then I will cut off the rest of the yarn. So then you have this like tiny bit, right? When you pull it, it's going to slide through, and you have effectively finished threading your yarn through. So the method I just taught you right now is pretty secure. If you end up like washing this, or the scarf's owner ends up washing this, the ends won't like come through and end up undoing all of your precious crocheting work. So that's a great way to end off your projects. So now if you were one of the people who were just looking for a tutorial on how to end the project, this is where you're good to go. Good job on all the work you did. And for those of you who are looking to change colors like what I need to do right now, stick around. So give me a second, I'm going to find some black yarn that matches this color, and I'll be back in a moment. Alright, so I have found some black colored yarn that matches the color that I'm trying to do a single crochet border around. So to start, I'm going to make a slip knot and adjust that to my hook size. And right where the scarf is changing from gray to black colored, I'm going to insert my hook at this location, then pull the slip stitch through, the slip knot through. So as you can see, I pulled it from here and then I went underneath to go to here. And then you see this cutout string from the beginning. I'm just going to pull that so that it remains there and it doesn't slide through where we just pulled through. A single crochet, so insert my hook in here and then yarn over and pull up a loop, and then I'm going to keep pulling on this so that it keeps everything tight, and then I'm going to yarn over and pull through both loops. And so what I've just done here is I made a single crochet to start off our work. So then now we can just continue making single crochet stitches along the border like we were just doing beforehand. I'm going to do that all the way until the scarf changes color once again. So then that's when I will stop. I will cut it and then I will thread it through this part of this scarf. And then I'll start a new color like what I just did for the black colored section. And then I'll continue along until I reach the end. And then there will be a color switch involved here as well. So I will keep single crocheting along here and then turn, do a color change here, continue, and then all the way until I reach the end of my scarf. And then that will be pretty much it. I will try to do a comparison of what it looked like before and after, depending on if I remember to do so. But anyways, for now I'm going to keep single crocheting like I said. Also, one note to add is that for this yarn tail, we can also use the strategy that I used for ending off my project for this section. And also just take the needle and then thread it through the same colored portion so that you can hide the tail. And that will be like pretty much how this color switching thing works for crocheting this scarf. So anyways, I'm going to end off here. Have a nice day and stay safe, stay warm,